Act 1, Scene the First. The Manly Companion's cottage. The furniture is manly. The crockery and cutlery is manly. Even the roses round the door are manly. Over the manly fireplace is a sampler. God bless this house in manly needlepoint.
In a picturesque yet retired county in the heart of rural tranquillity,
where sturdy English yo-persons produce sturdy English cattle and walk the unspoiled lanes on their sturdy English legs,
with their sturdy English thighs and their sturdy English buttocks. Oh.
here, where our sturdy old English customs are as yet uncorrupted by the airs and graces of the soiled metropolis,
stands a sturdy English cottage, remarkable for its air of refined, manly simplicity.
And gay gentrification.
Around the manly door, manly roses entwine in bright order.
Along the path, neat rows of alyssum and lobelia refresh the weary traveller with their manly fragrance.
And tell of the loving care with which they are tended.
Crossing the threshold, the bare, bright, clean rooms indicate to even the casual observer the poverty in which these virtuous folk do dwell.
But this is a proud poverty, a virtuous poverty, a manly poverty, which takes pains with the little it has.
The curtains are neat.
And manly, don't forget manly.
And well worn with washing, and through them the spring sunshine streams encouragingly, for fair nature doth bless impartially both rich and poor alike.
Over the sacred manly hearth, a pious text exhorts the household to do each day its duty and expresses a heartfelt prayer.
And manly.
Shut up.
To the omnipotent deity who watches over them.
God bless this manly house.
Though they need no promptings more than the urging of their hearts. Manly hearts, okay? Jesus.
On the table, a simple loaf and jug of milk, remains of their frugal repast.
While at that hearth, 3 chairs are drawn up before a small fire, for the sun is not so kind as to entirely banish winter chills.
One chair lies empty, the oldest and most worn of the 3.
Which betokens one user of long standing, now absent.
Whilst in the other 2 sit Augustus and Jed with furrowed brow, which shows that all is not well with these 2 upright
and manly
young men.
Thou knowst, fair Augustus, that it is 2 long years since mother died.
Aye.
Oft times do I think and look upon her chair, or her teeth upon the mantelpiece, and mind me of the happy hours she dandled me upon her knee.
Aye.
I still bear the scars on my behind, mind. Very bony knees she did have, and sharp.
Aye.
Alas, no more. The cares and toils of poverty did send her untimely to her grave.
Aye.
Yet died she in the bosom of her doting son, and in the consolation of her religion. 'Tis comfort to me. Also to know that she knew that I was happy with thee. I had found my helpmeet and most faithful friend who would travel this, life's dirt track with me, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, thigh to thigh, knee to knee, matching stride for stride.
Aye.
I knew this, though I had met thee but the other day before she died. I knew, and she knew, and I knew that she knew, and she knew that I knew she knew. It was a great comfort. But oh, what mystery did our meeting take place? I longed to know the secrets of Augustus's shadowy past. I say, it was a great comfort.
Aye.
Thou art in chatty mood tonight, dear Augustus.
Aye.
There is no force so powerful as a mother's love, or that of a faithful friend.
Aye. I mean, what?
Thou hast not heard aught of what I've said.
Nay, dear Jed, I hang on every word that drips from thy cherry.
But manly.
Manly, yes, lips. I do so dote on thee. I dare not tell him what is truly on my mind.
Fret not, dear friend, thou hast had a hard day of it, toiling in our simple plot, harvesting the simple weeds with which we augment our daily bread.
That's it. My massive delts, glutes, and abs are but little tired from my labours. Oh, how I hate to dissemble thus to my dear one. But 'tis stern necessity that drives me.
Sometimes I wonder whether thou dost regret the life that thou hast chosen here with me.
Never!
But I am rough, uncouth. Thou art a gentleman.
I know not.
Thou art. Thy manner and thy speech proclaims as much. Thy hands, now calloused from the space, were soft and dainty when thou camest to me. The L'Oreal moisturizer in thy pocket confirmed as much. Thou hast had servants to tend thee ere now, I warrant.
Nay, I know not, I tell thee. Thou knowest that when thou didst find me, bleeding and unconscious in the wood, swooning and nigh almost to death, thou didst rescue me, even from its very jaws. Thy sweet face, the first that I set eyes on when I awoke, did revive me more than any balm prescribed by doctor could. Yet how I came thus in the woods and in that state, I know not.
Amnesia.
Nor do I know why I had that parrot on my shoulder.
Polynesia.
My mind is blank, nor will any memory of life ere I met thee return.
Thou art highborn, I'll lay my life on it.
No more of this. 'Tis pointless to speculate thus.
Thus he is ever when we talk of this. Calm thee. Read this copy of the Manly Weekly to soothe thy nerves.
I have lost all taste for periodicals.
Ah, magnesia. Oh, Augustus, how I hate it when we quarrel thus.
Fear not, 'tis past.
They kiss a manly kiss.
Rest thee there beside the fire. I will take care of thee. I'll make a dish of tea from the roots of stinking nightshade.
Lovely. Oh, how my head doth ache. This talk of my past doth ever take me so. How I wish Jed would not talk of it, though he longs to plumb the depths of my mystery. He likes to plumb my depths in any case. But I am powerless to help him. And now this other woe doth crowd upon our bliss. Here, do I have heavy tidings indeed? A notice of eviction. This cottage is to be sold. Over our very heads, 'tis true. And this, despite the firm promise which Lord Audley, are you following this, did give to Jed's revered, though mentally challenged mother, that this cottage would always remain part of the estate whilst she and Jed did live. He shook hands with Jed upon the matter before this very fire. I've heard him say so often. But alas, old Lord Audley too has passed away, dispatched by some untimely radishes, and leaving the estate in the hands of young Lord Audley. He brings with him fine London ways, and his fine London manners. Oh, come on, he's from London. Boo, boo! And all the foppery of the town. Aye, and a fine London head for business. Why should he heed his father's promise to his dying mother when he can sell the roof over our heads and make a princely fortune? Thanks to the massive rise in house prices due to the introduction of the stagecoach. 'Tis true. The rent is somewhat overdue. The wheat harvest has been bad this year, but I have been frugal. I've saved half the sum that is owing. I will take the money to Lord Audley. Perhaps it will soften his heart. I have but faint hope of the enterprise, but I must take this desperate step. Meanwhile, shh! Not a word of this business to Jed. It'll break his fond heart to leave his childhood home, and memories of domestic bliss so dear.
I have made thee a fine, strong, psychotropic brew.
Thank you, dear Jed, but I feel much better.
Rest a while and regain thy strength.
Now that I do think on it, I fancy that a walk would compose my mind. The air in here is stifling.
I will chip away the mud that blocks one of the holes in the wall.
Oh, I will be glad when we can afford windows. Do not exercise yourself, dear Jed. A walk will do the trick. Put the stinking nightshade on the hob to warm against my return. Oh, Jed, thou hast been so kind to me.
I obey but the promptings of my heart, dear Augustus.
Dear Jed. And now, to work. I mean, to walk. Farewell.
I shall wait upon thy return with expectant heart and lips. These strange moods come upon him sometimes, and I must bear with them. This one too will be over soon.
Scene the second. The fine grounds of Audley Hall. Palladian villa of Lord and Lady Audley. Carefully blended, tended and well-behaved elms line the path. Classical statuary is strategically placed.
Even in our rural retreats, we have our rich and our poor.
Each knowing his place.
And the place of Lord and Lady Audley is Audley Hall.
A fine, imposing house with east wing and west wing of the last century.
The frontage, adorned with gracious pillars, looks out on an orderly park, the work of Incontinence Brown.
Nature to advantage dressed, with careful clumps of trees to provide a grateful shade.
While artful streams murmur to beguile the ear.
Murmur, murmur.
As Jed and Augustus eke out a meagre repast of bread and weeds.
The board of Lord and Lady Audley groans. With sides of beef, poultry, game, and exotic oriental fruits.
While decanters stand in rows upon the side, offering fermented grape in all its myriad variety.
But Lord and Lady Audley are, on occasion, generous, and today provide a feast for all the visitors.
A splendid dance indeed.
We have been practicing a month, my lord.
And excellently fleet of foot it was too. Don't you think so, my dear?
Indeed, dear husband. These simple country folk have skills our uncouth townspeople wot not of, and they are all in such wooed good health. Very wooed good health.
They have exerted themselves to the utmost. They know that I will evict them all if they don't.
Indeed, they have truly bust their digestive systems. I am far too ladylike to say guts. Look, dear husband, that one's tugging his forelock so hard it's dropped off.
This dancing must have worked up all your appetites. Go you now to the feasting and set to. There's roast pig and a side of beef and ostrich on a stick. Thank you, Whipsnade.
Washed down by the finest Chateau Latour 24.
Oh, I'll do that foreign muck.
It been trampled by filthy French feet.
But it's 1824.
Then it's way past its sell-by date.
Can't we have some of that lovely newfangled brew from the penal colonies? Cocoa koala.
Aye.
Ungrateful whelps. In that case, you shall have ditch water and like it.
Oh, lovely.
Beach water, a real treat that is.
Thank ye, my lord.
2 years we have been married. How quickly time doth fleet for thee enraptured.
2 years indeed. Why, it seems but yesterday that I was in your fine tine house in Cheney Walk, on my knees before thee, requesting thy hand in marriage, and making my way to a fortune.
Thine eye was full of such fine sparkle.
That was the champagne.
Thy demeanour held such manly ardour. How was I to refuse?
My order was all to secure the thousands she would bring in dowry and save my family fortunes. I thought that marriage I would take all, for under English law, all property of a wife reverts to the husband. A woman has no rights. But after the wedding, I discovered that her cunning father had tied up all her land and funds in an entailment. I cannot touch them. Curses! And yet, if she were to die, I, as husband, would inherit all.
Whom dost thou talk to, dearest?
Sometimes I sense we are in the presence of an virtual audience.
How strange! I thought the same. But it cannot be, for they are silent as the tomb.
Thou wast recalling our courtship, dearest.
Ah, you swept aside all weak womanly scruples.
To escape debtor's prison, I would have swept aside more than that.
Hast thou been happy, Robert? Truly, madly, deeply happy?
As happy as any man can hope to be with any wife. That is to say, not at all. I shall polish her off as soon as I can devise a plan.
When I came first from London, I must confess my heart misgave me. I feared for my delicate maiden sensibilities. Don't laugh. Exposed to rough country manners. But I find that these people have such natural, unaffected goodness in their hearts that they need no polishing with the etiquette of polite society.
They are a simple people, very simple, veritable simpletons, in fact. None of them suspects a thing.
I feel I have won myself a place in their simple country affections, with my visits to them armed with possets and health-giving curds.
Your possets are admired across the county, though I fear they have dumped curds in most inconvenient and unhygienic places.
And now I feel they love me.
They do indeed. Curse the woman. The place she has won will not be easy to dislodge her from. You are truly the crown and ornament of our little kingdom.
I have come to love our kingdom so. I feel as if I have always known Audley Hall, and my home has always been in much Audley. But here comes that vile man, the weatherwant Jonas Toadspawn. I know not what it is, but there is something about him which makes my flesh creep.
What is this, Aurora? The Reverend Toadspawn is an upright and godly man who has done great good improving the morals of the village. He has persuaded many a wayward young man to become upright.
I know it is foolish, but I cannot face him on this, our anniversary. He will cast his blighted shadow o'er our sun.
Enough of these foolish fancies. Today we must be charitable to all except you, my love.
Forgive me, but I cannot bear him. Make my excuses, I pray you.
Bah! A fig for her. The righteous humbug who is coming through my box will further my plan to polish her off. He is worldly and ambitious for all his cant, and I can turn him to my purpose. The status of the House of Audley will be enough to advance him. My patronage and my voice in the ear of the Bishop of Cannock will persuade him to do almost anything.
A blessing on my flock, peace be among thee. And on thee, my dear, dear Lord Audley. See how the Lord showers benisons in the path of he who walks in the sight of the Almighty. For he hath ordained thy lovely deer park, the benison of the venison, you might say. For thee he hath killed the fatted calf. For thee he hath turned the water into wine. He hath increased thy talents 100-fold, showing his care with pearls beyond price, which the ungodly call 20,000 a year plus 100,000 in the funds.
Oh, alas, mortgaged and squandered on playing happy family for money amongst a gang of ruthless rakes. Mr. Bunn, the baker, is the ruin of me. I am indeed a fortunate man.
And how is the delightful Lady Audley? Verily, her image shines as if sprayed with pledge, like the angel which appeared unto Samuel in a dream.
She has been taken a trifle ill. The heat.
Ah, these women are but frail vessels.
Enough of this. Did you deliver the message as I asked?
Verily, not Gabriel speeding to the Virgin Mary could have sped more swift than I. But 'tis thirsty work. My throat is parched, my brow decked with that exudation which the ungodly term sweat. Excuse me while I sip some wholesome cordial, which was made for me by the grateful old parishioner in her garden distillery. The wholesome belch is a shield against contagious fevers.
You don't have any fever.
That just proves how well it works. For the chest.
And how did they receive it?
Receive what?
The notice of eviction. I must have them out by the end of the month. Lord Scratchwood has promised me £500 for immediate vacant possession. Not much, but 'twill stem the rising tide of bankruptcy for a short while.
I know not. The cottage was deserted. I do not like to linger there. It is the dwelling of the unrighteous. Young men who have steeped themselves in unnatural vice and will not heed the call to repentance, despite the very reasonable rates offered for exorcism. Once I did remonstrate with them, and they but laughed. They are too far steeped in sin to shake it off, and now they must receive their proper punishment. They must be boiled in oil, flayed alive, castrated, drawn and quartered, and suffer endless eternal torment.
So merciful. You are a man of God indeed. I shall mention your services to me when I next dine with the Bishop of Cannock.
Oh, your lordship is too kind. I do but do the Lord's work. And I shall be revenged on that upstart Augustus Manley who did mock me. And if there is any other service which I can do, your lordship, do but ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. But if my weak body can bear the charge, but I find I am faint with exertions.
Come, good Jonas, may I call you that?
Your lordship does me too much honour.
Excellent, Jonas. You must share in the feast and celebrations, for this is our anniversary. Go in, I pray, and join the villagers. You'll find there's nothing lacking.
In moderation, I find nothing in the good book to prohibit us from enjoying the fruits of God's good earth. I shall partake of the flesh of the Gadarene swine, which heathens term roast pork, just a small slice or two with a side serving of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, vulgarly called apple, and maybe a little crackling. It will be sufficient.
And there is ale too, by the gallon.
Ale, would you say? Oh, nay, drunkenness is a beastly vice. I abhor it more than any other. Yet it is written, take a little wine for thy stomach's sake, and I do have a very bad stomach. You have convinced me.
There is something about this place which makes my heart uneasy. Yet it is strangely familiar. No matter. I must haste to find Lord Audley. I shall throw myself and Jed upon his mercy, and hope that I may soften his heart. Perhaps this silver which I have will do the trick. But hark, I hear the sound of revelry. Perhaps 'tis some special celebration. Mayhap Lord Audley will be in a festive mood. I must haste to catch him.
Arms, arms, young sir, I beg you, throw your arms around me. I want to get lost in your arms. Take pity on a poor old gypsy or Roma woman who roams around the countryside making terrible jokes and bringing good fortune on all who aid her. Arms, arms. I have a small tribe to support.
My dear good woman, I fear you ask the wrong person. I live in a humble cottage 3 miles from here. Jed, the dear friend with whom I share my days, Jed and I have but a small patch of weeds. Our landlord is about to cast us out onto the cruel world to wander we know not where. All that I have in the world is this purse, which I'm about to offer him in the hope that it will melt him from his purpose. Oh, you know all of that, of course. I ask your forbearance, because this gypsy Roma woman don't know jack shit.
Nay, I can see from thy face that thou art honest. I would not take from one as poor as I am. Here, have a clothes peg.
A clothes peg? Huh. I've always wanted a clothes peg all my life. Now all I need is some clothes. But I thank thee.
Let me see thy hand.
My hand?
Thy hand?
I heard thee the first time.
In thy hand is written thy past and thy future. Terra Masalata sees all.
Terra Masalata? What a strange name. There's something fishy about it.
When I was taken in by gypsies, Roma, they gave me that name for starters.
My past is shrouded in mystery. When I arrived in Much Audley, all memory of my previous life was taken from me. I was attacked.
Let me see. Your hand. Thou hast fallen from a great height. He who was once proud is now brought down, and he who is now high shall also fall. Beware the well. Beware. Beware. Oh, the reception here is bloody awful. That's better. Beware the well. Beware the cloth. Beware treachery and weasel words. I see doom, disaster, ruin. But don't worry, it'll all turn out for the best.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. I have second sight, which even now tells me that I must bugger off sharpish. One comes who does not wish me well. Farewell, farewell, till we meet again. Farewell.
What a strange crone is this? What am I to make of what she said? One who does not wish me well. I wonder where he could be.
He's behind you!
Cheap.
Oh, yeah, here comes Lord Audley. I can tell him by the likeness to the lithograph of his father, which Jed's mother kept upon the mantelshelf. That's very convenient. Otherwise, I would not have known him from Adam and might well have accosted the wrong person. I shall be bold and approach him. Be resolute, Augustus, and strive to live up to thy manly name.
That drunken Anglican sot is safely disposed between two plump dairymaids. I can forget him a while. I need peace to think out my plans. I must be rid of Aurora. My wife is called Aurora, in case you'd forgotten. Do keep up. But how to polish her off? 'Tis a pretty problem, but one I think which I may count on Toadspawn's help. You!
Lord Audley, I presume.
He does not know me.
My name is Augustus Manley. I am co-tenant with Jed Burke of Cosy Cottage, from which you would harshly hurl us out into the cruel world.
Aye, that would I. It is my property, and I will do with it as I think fit. Not for nothing do we have a conservative government.
You would break your father's word to a dying woman. His solemn word.
He was a besotted old fool. His word does not bind me.
He cared for thee, brought thee up, sent thee to Eton.
Just one more thing to hold against him.
He left thee his fortune.
A fortune squandered on lovely, lovely vice.
It was his dying wish that Jed and his mother should be left in peace and security.
Do not remind me.
Just a bit of recapping.
Aye, Jed and his mother, but not thee. He did not know of thee. He did not know that thou wouldst lead Jed into committing acts of sodomitic lust for which men can still hang. Jed and Augustus, like Pratt and Smith, the names have become a byword across the county for unmentionable crimes, abominations.
All the village knows us for what we are, and we are proud of it.
Aye, Satan was a proud angel too.
If pleas for mercy cannot move thee, perhaps this can. Thou knowest that we have 6 months' arrears in rent. The weed harvest has been bad, but yet we have saved this, 3 months' rent. Thou shalt have the rest within the month. How? I know not, but we shall find it. This is proof of our honest intent.
Let me see.
Something tells me I have seen this man before. Where? I cannot tell. Memories are crowding to my brain. Are they memories or fancies merely? But something stirs. Something from my past life. I remember a bed, a vile cot, in a stinking hovel of an inn. It was called Travel Lodge.
He has forgotten, but how long will he forget? The instant he recalls, he may expose me, and I shall be ruined. There's nothing for it. I shall have to polish him off too. And what is more, I see the means to do it. Thou art right. This is exactly 3 months' rent. I see I was mistaken, and thou hast honest intentions, despite thy eccentric affections. I will think on this. Meet me in 10 minutes by the old well in Lime Tree Walk. I will see if I can devise some stay of execution whereby Lord Scratchwood's plans may be deferred. Meanwhile, think of some means whereby you can repay the rest. But now I must return unto the revels.
I thank thee, Lord Audley, from the bottom of my manly heart.
You must excuse me.
Your servant, sir. I have won a stay of execution, but I fear this but postpones the evil hour. Where shall I raise the money? Yeah, I know, I could raise it down in London on the dilly, but I would not stoop to trade my favours thus. The only game that interests me is the manly sport of shove halfpenny. I fear I shall have to tell my Jed ere long.
Why so downcast, young sir?
I fear I have but stayed Lord Audley's hand. I cannot think where to raise the rest of the money owing.
A young man such as thou art hast always something to sell.
Never. I would not tarnish my love for Jed in so vile a fashion.
Don't be so picky, young man. We are members of two despised races, thee and me. Neither of us will ever get into the Royal Ascot Royal Enclosure. In this wicked world, we must know our friends and shift for ourselves as best we can.
Perhaps thou art right.
Of course I'm right. I'm always right. It's one of my most irritating features. Tara Masalata knows all.
Really? Then what's the capital of the Cook Islands?
Avarua.
This has convinced me. Oh, I know. I shall away to sea, so I will not be tempted to soil my body. There's booty to be won, and prizes, and glory. In 6 months I shall come home laden with gold and pearls, and a good pension. But oh, to be parted from my Jed for so long.
Oh, have it thine own way. I'd sell my body given the choice. Cannons do nasty, messy things like take off legs.
I will think on it. Meantime, I must haste to meet Lord Audley. The day is not yet lost. I thank thee, dear kind gypsy. Roma, you have put new heart in me.
Think nothing of it. I do it all the time. It's all part of customer service. Where are you meeting Lord Audley?
By the old well.
Not the old well.
That's what I just said.
I thought that's what you said. Beware the well. Beware the well.
But the well is dry. It's been boarded up for years.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I get these turns sometimes. The well, you say?
And I must haste. I must not keep Lord Audley waiting.
Now, it is time to throw off my disguise and to work my revenge. Little does anyone know that underneath the cloak of an old gypsy Roma woman lurks another old gypsy Roma woman. It is a subtle bluff, so subtle that no one has ever seen through it. Sometimes I even fool myself. 5 years ago it was, but I will always remember it as if 'twere yesterday. Our tents were pitched upon Hampstead Heath, ready for the grand Michaelmas Fair and badger races. I was practising the cards for my fortune-telling, with my fair love, the beauteous Tzatziki, by my side. She was drugging the goldfish for the roll a penny. It's a kindness, really. They're highly strung. Suddenly, a commotion. A gang of young bloods came rushing through the tents. They thought it fun to strike terror into a few helpless gypsy Roma. One of them, drunker and more inflamed than the rest. Are you following this? Drunker and more inflamed than the rest, tripped over the rope of our tent.
Die.
Unless it was a drag king. He knocked into the sailcloth. He upset our small oil lamp. I went over in a trice. In seconds, the tent was a seething mass of flames. I beat at them in vain. I tried to drag Tzatziki from their path, but I was overpowered by heat and smoke. I would not have escaped myself, were it not for a passing giantess who carried me bodily from the furnace. I shall not easily forget the sound of Tzatziki's screams, a slow and awful death. The gallants, the rake-hells escaped in the confusion. The tribe was too occupied bringing water from the ponds to quench the fires that I saw the face of the murderer. Only a glimpse, but it was enough. And I have tracked him down. For 5 long years I have searched, inquired, and eliminated. My track and trace has been an object lesson. And I know him for who he is. The trail has led me here to Audley Hall and Lord Audley. Are you still with me? Don't worry, there's not much more. I have 2 bullets, one for him and one for me. Once that I have avenged my beloved, my life's work is done. But I shall not kill him yet. That would be too quick, too easy. I shall kill him, yes. But first I shall see him humbled, ruined and disgraced. Terra Masalata's curse on Audley and all the tribe of Audley.
Here's to the jolly rum, I love it in my tum. They call me a drunken sot, though I maintain I'm not. I only have a little drop, and then a drop, and then a drop. It's hard to know just when to stop drinking the jolly rum. Ah! Fair sister, I see thou art of the lost tribe of Israel. Verily, nor Jezebel nor Susanna was more fair. Come, thou shalt drink with me.
That I will not. Thou art naught but an old sponge.
Ah, but a sponge has its uses. How would you like me to give you a good rub down?
Way, foul amphibian!
Oh, come, a little drop will do no harm for charity and company's sake. I see thou hast a kindly heart. Oh, empty, gone, perfidious, ungodly flask, treacherous as Diana, begone! Nay, I shall not reproach thee, it is not thy doing. Shall I strike thee with my rod as Moses did the rock in Canaan and make thee flow again with nectar? Or shall I take thee back to the offie and get 6pence on the empty?
Hast thou not had enough?
Enough? Never. But there are other things which can divert the mind of the philosopher. Come, wench, and talk to me of the consolations preferred by the fairer sex.
Oh, his breath stinks of the rawest spirit that ever made.
Just one kiss. Oh, but thy fair lips to drive a man wild.
Thou art too bold, sir.
Blame not me, when 'tis thy beauty which provokes men so.
Unhand me.
Come, a gypsy.
Roma.
Should not be so particular.
Insult not my tribe, or it shall be the worse for thee.
Nay, if thou wilt not consent, then I shall have to force thee.
Stay, wretch, or thou shalt rue it.
I shall teach thee to be more docile in future.
I shall defend my honour, as a tigress doth her cubs. Ah!
Oh.
I give thanks to the merciful heavens for Islington's lesbian self-defence classes. 'Twas there of an evening I learnt these martial arts.
Harlot, whore of Babylon, I shall be revenged on thee.
Come on then, try it. Make my day, punk. He roars, but there's no hurt in him. And I must follow the path to Lord Audley in search of my revenge. An assassin's work is never done.
The dog shall lick my blood, painted Jezebel. Deceitful, vile vessel of sin. I'll set the parish watch on thee. I shall have thee yet.
Scene 3. A clearing near the old well in a grove of lime trees.
The broad path narrows to sinuous tracks.
The lime trees cluster thick, the undergrowth rises.
As Augustus, with beating heart, presses with all haste towards his appointment.
But Lord Audley is in advance of him. Not for nothing has he chosen this old neglected corner of his estate.
Here he prepares the fiendish trap to spring on the unsuspecting Augustus,
with which to dispatch to the other world.
Done. The hatch is off the well. The handle is concealed. That young fool will suspect nothing. So eager is he to save the paltry roof over his wretched head and that of his catamite. Thus shall my haunted years be brought to an end, and my past life buried forever. In this secluded glade, no one can overlook us. Here no one will think to search. No accusing spectre can rise up to point the finger. I shall be secure in my marriage to Aurora. Or, should I say, to Aurora's fortune. For once I am free, I shall polish her off, untrammeled by any show of duty or love to the besotted girl.
Girl?
He comes.
These woods get thicker and thicker. Truly, this is a desolate place in which to make an assignation. Even the birds are silent, but I suspect nothing. So eager am I to save my paltry roof.
What did I tell you?
Sir, am I behind time?
Nay, sir, I am ahead.
Why is this voice so familiar?
Well, to business. I have considered the matter carefully.
Yes.
Looked at it from all sides.
Yes.
To try and cast it in the most sympathetic light.
Yes.
And
yes,
I cannot grant what thou askest, thou sad but undeniably attractive loser. 'Tis too risky. There is no way thou canst guarantee to repay the money owing.
The heavens forfend! Good sir, I am on bended knee.
A common enough position for thy kind.
If it be that money is the obstacle, I've devised a plan. I shall go to be a sailor, and all such booty as I shall win, I undertake to send thee in payment of my debt.
It is not enough, no more.
Well, if money may not move thee, let me talk of love. Yes, love. My love for Jed and his for me. These tender devotions grown from his care of me. Care of me. It returns. I have knelt like this before. Do not titter. And begged mercy from this strange man.
He knows.
And 'twas on this very spot. The well.
I am unmasked. Well then, his doom is sealed.
Thou art not Lord Audley. Thou art Sir Watford Gap. That is the name I knew thee by. I thought thou wast in service.
Thou liest.
Nay, I should never forget thee again. That blow you gave me to the head took away my powers of recollection, but they return.
Thou ravest.
Young Rakel, when I first met thee 5 long years ago, thou wast fair and young, before thy debauchery and lack of moisturizing had aged thee thus. I believed in thee, loved thee, followed thee in thy drunkenness into every gambling den in London. There were no arts of villainy I did not learn from thee, but still I loved thee, until one day thou didst vanish. Howling with loss, I flung myself still more into the life that thou didst show me. My money was all spent. I found more. I owed it to my friends, Mr. Berkeley and Mr. Lloyd. Still, it did not suffice. I cheated at cards. I was found out and fled to the mean, anonymous streets of Wapping and Whitechapel. I eked out a miserable existence, picking pockets, turning trickster, cudgelling and cozening, a half man living in a half existence. I was known as the Artful Dodger, but I was lucky, so I became the Artful Jammy Dodger.
Until the day I wrote thee from Audley Hall.
Yeah, thou didst say that urgent reasons of state had forced thee to disappear. But fortune had smiled on thee, and now we could be reunited. Only I should come to Audley Hall, and all would be made plain.
My life was desperate. My father, driven to despair by my ways, threatened to disinherit me. My debts, too, were mounting. I would shortly be arraigned before the courts, prison doors gaped before me. The only way out, a rich wife. I wooed and won Aurora. Oh, how necessity lent me dissembling arts. We were to be married. My father was overjoyed and we were reconciled. Only after his death did I learn that my inheritance was hollow. Unwise investments in a South Sea bubble bath had robbed me of all. All I had was a title, a semi-derelict hall, a bankrupt estate, and no means to maintain my position in society.
Overjoyed, I read thy letter. I flew to be reunited with thee, and when I arrived at this village, I received word to meet thee by the old well, in Lime Tree Walk, this very spot.
Thou wert all that stood between me and the resolution of all my woes. My infamous past, should it come out, would yet be my undoing. I had to silence thee, but I was surprised.
Not half so surprised as I was. You didst leave me bleeding fatally, and bleeding angry to boot. Thou didst leave me in the woods here, where Jed did find me.
How my past doth catch up upon me. I must dissemble.
Fear not. I have no claim on thee. For through thee I did find my soulmate and my life's companion. Only let us live in peace in the home that we've made.
And if I will not?
Then all the world will know the treachery thou hast practiced, the hypocrisy thou hast shown, and the criminality thou hast indulged.
Blackmail?
Ooh, what an excellent word. I wish I'd thought of it. Thou hast reviled Jed and me for what thyself hath practiced. We two are proud. Thou a miserable chameleon, changing thy colours to thy prevailing fortune.
I have rethought. Listen, I have fought too hard for my position to yield it up tamely. I cannot have thee in the village knowing what thou knowest. I will give thee gold, more than thou had ever dreamt on before. Take it, go away, you and Jed, and start a new life elsewhere.
Jed will never leave willingly. Much Audley is his life, his world. I could never tell him we must leave.
Invent some excuse.
Traitor! Wouldst thou have me practice the vile arts of deception on those I love? Never!
Beware. Where I cannot remove an obstacle, I will crush it.
Or be crushed.
Thou wilt turn informer then?
No, avenger of my wrongs, and those of that hapless wife that thou hast so abused.
Then thou wilt war with me.
If necessary, unto the death.
To the death. That is the word, the only escape. Then, since thou art merciless,
as thou art cunning. Last night, the luxurious gilded roof of Audley Hall sheltered thee. Tonight, a prison roof will cover thy head.
I defy thee, scorn thee, I spurn thee for a vindictive fool. Go to the justice. I am the justice. Go to Lady Audley, if thou wilt, denounce me do, and I will swear to her that thou art a liar, a madman. She will believe me before her. Before thee I have gained her heart, her soul, her unbounded confidence. Before there is a felon's dock for me, there is a maniac's cell for thee.
Thou art a fool. Thou hast forgot, my lord, that I have a friend, a faithful friend, Jed Burke. He doth worship my very stools that we sit on. I'm not helpless, and should any harm befell me, woe, woe indeed unto the guilty one. I'm not so easily got rid of.
We shall see. I have offered him a bribe. I have used threats. I shall now employ cunning.
Come, sir. Wilt thou give thyself up, or must I force thee?
Thou art right. I see that my position is hopeless, and it is more honourable course to admit all. The words have pierced me. Thou needst not constrain me.
I will believe thee.
But I am overcome with dizziness. My head whirls. These sudden events have put me in a quinsy. If I were a lady, I would have the vapours. Oh, the water, I pray you. My temples throb so.
One moment.
My head burns like fire.
I will moisten my kerchief in the well. But this is the last service I will e'er perform for thee.
It is indeed thy last. Die! Die! Die!
Ah! Ah! Ah!
He is gone. Gone. And no one to witness the deed.
Excepting I.
Excepting I.
Dead men tell no tales. I am free. I am free. I am free.
The curtain falls. End of Act 1. A street in old London town, full of old gaming dens, gin shops, brothels, etc. The lower parts of Earl's Court.
3 long months have passed, and no avenging hand has brought down justice on the head of the murderer of Augustus.
On the contrary, he prospers. August dispatched, cosy cottage is rudely sold.
You want it or not? Then give me the bloody money.
Oh, that's very rudely sold. Over the head of the grieving Jed.
The hand that trained the climbing rose to wander over the trellis shall pluck these fragile blooms no more.
Lord Audley tells Jed that Augustus, overcome with shame at his debt, has indeed gone to sea for a pirate, where he was overpowered by seamen and drowned.
Which simple Jed believes, as it is also sworn to by now Canon Jonas Toadspawn, who sees well the advantage to be gained in maintaining and increasing the estates of his lordship, for it is well to fatten the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Is Jed suspicious? Does he vow to fathom the mystery? Does he never consider that Augustus told him he was going to see Lord Audley and never returned from seeing Lord Audley? Does he never think that Lord Audley might have had a role in Augustus's disappearance? Does he not swear, as all true lovers should, that he will never rest till the truth lies revealed? No, he does not. For not only Is he remarkably naive? He is also thick as pig shit. In his grief, caring naught for his life or the opinion of the world, he desperately roams the high road.
Till he is arrived at that great centre of vice and villainy, to which all roads lead for the poor, the outcast, and the desperate. Earl's Court.
There, in mean taverns, he throws himself into debauchery, with men encased in leather, to lose himself and hide the heavy load which weighs upon his heart.
Has come to this. Outcast from friends and home, regarded with pity at best, at worst with fear. Why did he desert me thus? Together we might have faced the worst the world has come to offer, but no. He had too low opinion of my constancy. He thought me light and faithless. Oh, woe. What is to become of me? I am starving, deserted, miserable. Though I am penniless, still I must have liquor. My kerchief, 'twill buy me twopence worth of gin at all events.
Verily, this London town is Babylon itself. I should be gladder than the Israelites that were led from Egypt to the promised land by the prophet, when I can return to rural domesticity. It's safe that I have to pay my respects to my Lord Kendall and his Grace the Bishop of Toddington. I would have left ere now. There are those who would allow clerical elevation to ascend to that seat of reason, which the simple term, the head. Pah! I despise such vulgar show. I will comport myself in the manner to which advancement points the way.
Damnation! Damnation! The pawn would not give me the 3 farthings for my kerchief. My mouth is dry, my head fuzzy and buzzing with innumerable bees. Nor can I keep the sight of dear Augustus long from my fancy.
The wretched catamite, and out at elbows, as is the common speech, or else I lose my clarity of vision. I will ply him with spirit and hasten him on the path to his perdition. A miserable gutter's death shall be his lot. I, of course, am above such things, but will point the way to the primrose path. I praise the Lord, have always held spirituous liquor as my servant, and not my master. Ah, well, Jed, such a surprise to see thee in the great metropolis, but mayhap thou hast right to come here. A likely lad can make his fame and fortune.
Reverend Toadspawn. They used to say he was good for a drink or two.
Canon Toadspawn.
Lord, what a great gentleman thou hast become.
I am here in the city of the plains, which some name London, for some business with his grace the bishop.
Heavens!
Take not the name of the Lord in vain.
Folks from much Audley should stick together. How about a drink to celebrate?
How he falls pat in with my plan. My dear young man, how couldst thou tempt me thus? It ill behooves a man of my calling, and yet for old time's sake and the memory of thy dear mother.
Mother! How that word lashes my heart.
I will cast aside my scruples. I shall render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto Captain Morgan the things which are Captain Morgan's. Lead on.
How pat he falls in with my plan. I am saved. This way, good sir.
Another part of London, Fleet Street.
But Jed and the thirsty canon are not the only two to feel the lure of London.
Or, as they search the meaner streets in quest of some low alehouse, another searches too.
Lord Audley, though he rides high upon the wheel of fortune, cannot but think of the chasm below, should Jed rouse himself to suspicion.
Thus are the guilty punished by the workings of their own conscience. Author's message.
The voice of God in the temple of our hearts that will not cease to speak even when we cease to listen.
Curse the infernal man! Must he rise everywhere to haunt each waking hour? I see Augustus at every street corner. I cannot sleep at night without his apparition in my dreams. Of ghastly aspect, he shakes his gaunt locks at me. He points the accusing finger, crying, "Jed, Jed, avenge me!" What if he appears to his former friend thus? Will that not turn him from the path of damnation on which he has been set? No, I cannot rest until the hand which might rise in retribution hath been felled, finally and forever. But where is he? How shall I find him in a city of 1,000,000 lost souls? Fleet Street is the most clamorous and frequented part of the town, though swarming with the lowest, basest, vilest of men, journalists. I shall start my inquiries here. Sweeney Todd, barber, teeth pulled by appointment. Why, a barber is a busy fellow. He has the ear of all his neighbours, and that's a lot of ears. He is well acquainted with the gossip of the town. I shall have a shave, which, due to the hardness of my journey, I stand in much need of. Inside, I shall engage the fellow subtly in conversation.
A customer, and so early in the day. This comes most conveniently. I have shrunk almost to nothing. Good morning, sir, and how may I have the pleasure of serving thee? A shave? Trim? Slit thy throat from ear to ear? No, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what came over me.
Think nothing of it. A shave, I fancy. I have a young lady I wish to entertain.
Shave? And nothing simpler? In fact, I think I can promise thee after a shave from me, thou never want another.
Devil of a cough thou hast there, barber.
Oh, no, just the merest touch of COVID. Wilt thou sit here, sir? No, this chair, sir. It is most comfortable. Once thou hast sat in it, thou find it hard to get up again. Wouldst thou be from out of town, sir? And now, thou wilt pardon my presumption, thou hast the air of a country gentleman.
Thou hast sharp eyes, barber.
And an even sharper razor. Then thou hast no relatives, sir? I mean, no relatives close at hand to make inquiries?
What kind of inquiries?
Well, should something befall thee? I mean, to be the sole heir?
My mother died at my birth. I was her first and only child, and so was my twin, who died at birth too.
Oh, how very convenient.
Oh, but wealth can never repair the desolation of the orphan.
Noble sentiments indeed, sir.
Tell me, barber, thou must have many people coming through your shop.
Not exactly those, sir. Many are in need, are in and out in a trice. Many are seen once, then never seen again.
Hast there by any chance passed this way a gentleman from Much Audley in Somerset?
We have so many. Let me think.
Of some 20 years, with dark curly hair?
Short, broad-shouldered and of a manly disposition?
The same.
His manners somewhat rough, but with a sweet nature withal.
That's it.
A dimple in his chin and a birthmark right under his ear.
Wasn't it his left ear?
No, it was left there under his right ear.
Have you seen him?
No, never seen him.
Well, look out for him. A rough diamond, as they say.
Diamonds? Did you say diamonds?
Nay, a rough diamond, as the saying has it.
I'll catch thy drift.
It's gold for the man who brings me tidings of him.
Oh, gold? Didst thou say gold?
Of which I have plenty, though not about me at this moment.
Oh.
But the man who comes forward with reliable information will not find me ungenerous.
Oh. I'll make inquiries in the streets, sir, and post notice in the tavern, the Jolly Cholera.
Barber, thou art an honest man, and honesty is a pearl beyond price.
Pearls? Did you say pearls?
That any man with knowledge of the whereabouts of Jed Burke should present himself at the Cock, Cheapside. Yes, tell him to stop a policeman and ask for Cock. There, he should make himself known to a Mr. Barker.
Did anyone in your family make mention of one Benjamin Barker, who was sent by the evil Judge Turpin to the colonies as a criminal so that the said judge could have his wicked way with Barker's beautiful young wife, Lucy?
No. Why?
No reason, I merely wondered. That would be 4p, good sir.
Here's a shilling for thy pains. Rub it on them nightly. There shall be more if thou dost perform other services so excellent.
Oh, I shall be energetic in thy enterprise, rest assured.
Barker's the name, remember? I would not alert Jed as to my interest.
Yes. Mr. Barker, good day, sir.
Act 2, Scene 3. A street in Earl's Court, outside the Boner Arms.
Jed, meanwhile, is ignorant of all Lord Audley's designs.
And indeed to all the world.
And recks not of past, present, or future.
For in the hands of the Reverend now Canon Toadspawn, the weak-willed Jed is putty.
The canon plies him first with brandy, then with whiskey, finally with a pina colada.
All the while resisting with heroic self-control the desire to match measure for measure with the inebriate Jed.
He pours his own measures away, while a small tear rolls down his cheek at the waste of God's own bounty.
So the cannon has not gone off when Jed is carried insensate to the street.
Where am I? Do people dream after they are dead? Hideous. Hideous. I should like to be dead if I could not dream. 'Tis morning. Or is it night? Or which is it? I wanted daylight, but now 'tis come. What shall I do with it? Parched. Parched! Brandy, rum! I am not so stricken with despair when I am drunk and descended to oblivion. What horrid place is this? Oh, pain! Dreadful pain! Heavens, how I tremble! Brandy! Brandy! Here. Here, friend. Take these off from me, will you? These snakes which coil around me. Oh, how strong they are, how they stifle me and choke me. No, don't kill them. Give them brandy. Poison them with rum. That would be justice. The spiders come. The spiders big as plates. See, they crawl all over me. But why don't the snakes eat the spiders? Away, away. Hush. Gently, while he speaks, I'll kiss him. Hush, hush, no sound. He would reject me, light and faithless, if he knew it. Hush. Heaven bless my Augustus. Hush. If the globe slides round once more, we shall all slip from its surface into eternity. A boiling sea of wine, fired by the torches of fiends.
What's this? Why, mercy, 'tis that young friend of Augustus, and helpless, quite helpless.
All's quiet now. The snakes sleep too. They think I cannot escape. What's this? How came this here? I did not steal this. Or did I? I have no memory. My mind's an alcoholical blank. Or did it come here by some malevolent design? Such jewels are worth a fortune, or death, if I'm discovered. If men hang for stealing of a loaf, how much worse will I fare? Well, I am tired of this crime. But stay, it is no crime to purloin sleep at an apothecary's store. None, none! Now, for the universal antidote, the all-powerful conqueror of every worldly care, death.
No!
Huh? Who art thou? What art thou?
Nay, friend, throw not thy life away, but mend thy ways.
Friend? I know thee not. I am a fiend, weak-willed, who disgraces the memory of him who loved me.
I come not to upbraid thee, I come to save thee. Thou hast been drinking.
Oh, work that out, hast thee? Well done. I am dying now for a liquor. Wilt thou give me a brandy?
No, never.
Not even a liqueur chocolate?
They're fattening.
Who art thou that takes an interest in this unhappy sinner?
I am a friend to all outcasts. Thou art a catamite, and is a catamite a brother to the gypsy tribe? Or Roma, all right?
But I am lost. What use can I be to thee?
Art thou indeed a fallen man? Then thou hast the utmost claim upon me. I shall raise thee once more, for she who lifts a fellow fallen creature from the dust is greater than the heroine who conquers a world.
My mother's dying words. Who and what art thou? Art thou a bird? Art thou a plane?
I am one whose life and labours rescue their fellow persons from the abyss into which they have fallen. I administer the pledge of sobriety to those who would once more become a blessing to themselves and those around them.
That picture is too bright. It cannot be.
You see before you one who for 20 years was prey to this dreadful folly. 12 bottles of special brew and hair restorer for chasers.
No, it is too late for me.
It is never too late. Come with me. Strength will be given thee. The parent of purity smiles upon honest endeavours. Come, enrol thy name among the free, the disenthralled, and be thyself again. A hearty welcome. In token of our pact, have a blast on this instead. I am Tara Masalata. I am a friend to thee and to thy lover Augustus.
His name again. Didst thou know him?
Aye, till the very end. I could tell thee such things as would make thy toes curl.
Oh, tell me, for heaven's sake.
Why? Nobody wants curly toes. Besides, the time is not yet ripe. This alone will I tell thee now. Lord Audley hath done thee great wrong.
He did defile the domestic cot, 'tis true.
Greater even than crapping in bed.
I meant he was unfaithful, though at least he got a decent price for his infidelities.
Even greater than that. And this too I shall tell thee. The Audley man has done me much woe as well. Woe, woe, woe beyond measure, and I too shall have revenge. And thou wilt help me. Thus we too shall bring him to his doom. Doom! Doom! He will be doomed, I tell thee.
Doom? You mean kill him?
And have his testicles as an ornament for my bosom.
I like it not. I've never feared any man, but death?
It is too good for the likes of him. If thou requirest further proof, meet me on Hampstead Heath at midnight. The gypsy Romany band is gathering for the fair and having a bit of a jam session. The morrow is Moldimus. Lord Audley too is in London, and thither will I lure him to his downfall.
Oh, cut the cackling, please. It's making my eardrums bleed.
Oh, sorry. Till we meet again on Hampstead Heath. Farewell.
Farewell.
Act 2, Scene 4. The Heath at midnight. Enter the chorus.
And so, at midnight, upon the heath,
which the raunchiest denizens of London do frequent,
our actors haste to play out the strange drama of the heart, the eternal battle twixt good and evil, the Manichaean conflict which has raged in man since man crawled from the slime, the existential angst.
Oh, get on with it. Stop padding it out.
Jed flies to meet Tara.
Tara flies to meet her tribe.
Audley's flies are undone. Nevertheless, he flies to obey a mysterious summons conveyed by Mr. Todd to meet one who will inform on Jed Burke with full particulars.
As a result of a notice posted by Tara on the fine oak panelling of the Jolly Cholera.
And unlikely though it may seem, yet strain thy credence, gentle viewer. Canon Jonas Toadspawn also flies to this ungodly spot. Not since the Grenadier Guards bringing by sail has the heath been so busy. The canon seeks urgent conference with Lord Audley.
I tell thee, it is not enough.
What more can I offer? Thou hast had thy regular payments, all that my estate can afford. I have preferred thee, honouring my pledge. I have whispered in the ear of the bishop, and lo, thou art advanced.
I crave yet more. Thy back is broad enough that I may claim yet further on it. I need money.
There is no more.
A large down payment which may equip me for polite society. An introduction to the Archbishop does not come cheap. 'Tis more than to the most exclusive whore.
'Tis impossible. Now I see my past actions repaid in full. I did deal with Augustus even so. I beg thee.
My needs are too pressing.
My own words coming back thrown in my face.
May I remind thee, my lord, I have the means to bring thee to thy ruin. How would polite society reward thee if it were known that thou hast been a sodomite? Flight would be thy only escape with loss of lordly hall. It would fall to Lady Audley.
He has grown too bold. I shall have to polish him off too.
Bring thee to thy ruin. Let thy heart turn to ice to think on't.
But think thee too, thou needest me. Thou wilt not kill the golden goose.
Never, as long as it continues to lay the golden eggs.
I must have time to devise means to meet thy growing demands.
That's better. Thou art growing pliable. I will forgive thee, as our Saviour enjoined, and rejoice more over one lost sheep returned to the fold than the 99 who ne'er did stray.
Oh, hypocrite. I will meet thee again. I return to Much Audley at noon tomorrow by the non-stop express stage. I will see thee there when I have had more opportunity to realise my assets and form a plan to polish him off.
I am content, but be warned, thou shalt not escape the wrath of the righteous man.
Jed, toadspawn, how all my troubles do crowd upon me. Will I never see my way to cut through this entangled web? And now, where is my mysterious informant? This the place, this the hour. I will retire behind a tree, and while I am waiting, devise me a means to rid me of this turbulent priest.
Friends, yes, friends, I have news. You remember all too well, as I know, but the audience doesn't, the night of horror when our tents were all fired, our dear sister killed, and several others hideously scarred.
Remember all too well. I bear the marks to this day.
I too bear the marks.
But thou wert so hideous anyway, nobody noticed the difference.
Bitch.
Face like a slapped arse.
Stop this squabbling or I shall lose my thread. Pay attention. Now, this self-same perpetrator of that outrage, the proud young Lord Audley, has designs to drive us from the common where we have pitched our tents since the time of our great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
But ere we leave, we will have vengeance full and deep.
Aye, vengeance, vengeance,
Vengeance.
Fear not, that we shall have. This Audley has used us for his sport, hunted us like wild beasts, and for our resistance, many of our tribe now lie in jail. But the vengeance on Audley belongs to me.
My name? Ah, those rascally gypsies, blackamoors all. I'll listen.
The wrongs that he hath done to our tribe are as nothing to the great wrong he has done to me. He robbed me of my own fair love, Zatziki. He made her boil to pitch before my very eyes, and listen to her screams, powerless to come to her aid. For these deeds I'll make him an outcast in his turn, strip him of his fortune, let him suffer the pangs of despised beggary that we suffer. Let them drag him to the gallows foot, then with my vengeful eye glaring in his, and with my cry of bitter mockery ringing in his ear, I'll force him to mount step by step till I place the rope around his neck. This will be my long and painful vengeance.
Sisterhood is powerful.
Our brothers cry for vengeance from their prison cells. Shall they cry in vain?
No, he has a fine townhouse, jewels, furs. In the country at Much Audley, wheat and hay. Take them, put them to the flame, make him a beggar, and once that is complete, I will reveal the secret that will put the rope around his neck. Nay, I'll not reveal my secret yet until your work of destruction is complete. But then I shall give proof that will drag that fine young lord to a murderer's doom.
'Tis a glorious plan.
The light to guide us home shall be the flaming ruins of Audley's fine townhouse.
Ah, vengeance! After years of watching and waiting. Knock down my game, ye trusty dogs.
'Tis lucky I overheard them. This hideous crone knows something. Can it be that she too saw me strike down Augustus? If so, another witness rises to torment me. But I will find the means to polish her off as well, and gain the plaudits of society for ridding it of gypsy vermin.
Now is our time. I heard from servants down in Camden Town. Audley is away from home. If he is at home, we will hurl him into the blazing fires.
Brave boys! There is your work among the lights below. Soon all will be a heap of ruin. Go to it.
Remember, dead men tell no tales. This way, this way.
Would that Jed were here to see this glorious night. I would tell him all. But stay, I had forgot. I had lured Audley away tonight for this express purpose. Where can he be?
Here, old traitress, wouldst thou betray me, pitiful ancient hag?
That's no way to talk to an old age pensioner.
Foul crone, wasted witch, bonkers beldam, gaga-gamma, I hurl my thesaurus at thee.
I care not. I will drive thee a beggar from thy home.
I can spit in thy face thanks to Sun Alliance. The house is insured to its full value and more. It can go to the devil for all I care. I would rather have the money.
But thy life is in my power. I am the lover of the dear defunct Tzatziki, whom thou didst so carelessly confine to flames. I swore revenge, and now it is at hand. I dogged thee, step by step. Years of my life were spent dogging. And I did see how thou baselessly silenced the voice that would rise up to accuse thee of that which thou reviled in others. Yes, I saw thee strike down the helpless Augustus Manley, and I shall bear witness. Thy life is forfeit.
And so is thine, aged crone. Bang! Thus perishes the other witness to my crime.
Shot! See? See how my poor rescuer bleeds? Who has done this to thee? Speak, aged crone.
What, Nora, not you too?
Gorgeous, pouting, aged crone. Is that better? Speak to me.
I have done with this world. I am dying. Swear to seek the remnants of my tribe. Swear them upon the ancient Roma relics to pursue the path of vengeance until our deaths be avenged. Mine and dear Augustus Manley.
Yes, I swear, but who has done this?
'Tis well. My eyes grow chill, my blood grows dim, my sentences are scrambled. And see, the spirit of my Tzatziki calls me to my Roma home among the stars.
Come and get it.
I must insist. Who hath done this?
The vile Lord Audley.
He shall answer for this. But what of the secret? Thou hast promised to reveal all the concerns of the fate of dear Augustus. Speak, I pray thee.
Audley. Augustus. At the well. They.
Gone. Gone. And never called me brother.
A heartbreaking tableau. The curtain falls. End of Act 2. Scene 1. Lime Tree Walk at Audley End.
Tara is gone, and Jed is left friendless in the world.
And oh, dear viewer, You may well imagine what a mighty turmoil rages within his breast.
Yet one thing seems clear. The name of Lord Audley remains inseparably linked, both with Tara's death and his dear friend's disappearance.
He therefore forms a firm resolve to return to Much Audley, and at Audley End confront the villain with his complicity in these deeds.
The pious Canon Toadspawn, too, has reason to return to his parish, where his flock, or one black sheep at least, has need of his pastoral care.
Therefore, our scene returns from the bustle and baseness of the teeming streets to the secluded peace of Much Audley,
Where Lady Audley these several days has languished 'gainst her husband's looked-for return.
Oh, miserable me! Where is my fond husband, who should ere now have returned to my doting side? But 2 days he promised, but now his absence has extended to a week. My mind misgives me. Do my charms fail?
Charms!
Piss off. Know your place, peasant. Where was I? That oik has ruptured me twain. Oh, yes. What has happened? Has he found himself? My tongue can scarce frame the words. The consolation of some softer breast. For months now I have thought I did detect some coolness of his former manner, but I dismissed those thoughts as womanly weakness. Ay, me! Oh, I feel that I must bear this burden with as much stoicism as weak, fond, foolish female heart can muster. Who writes this rubbish? But 'tis cruel. 'Tis ever the fate of our weaker sex to suffer thus. Men must do, and we must wait. It is our lot. Load of tosh. It is also our duty, and for the purpose of the plot, I will gladly embrace it. Oh, that man again. I cannot bear him in my sight.
Speed not so away, fair matron. I am rather short-sighted. I bring thee news of great import. Thy husband returns.
My husband! Such tidings make me almost faint with ecstasy. There's not a lot of excitement in Much Audley.
He catches the noon stage and will be here ere night.
Oh, this news does make the messenger almost fair in my sight. But stay, why comes he on the stage? He rode away upon the finest hunter in our stables.
What became of it I know not. Some lameness, perhaps, a cast-off shoe. I know he sold it to meet my just demands.
No matter. He returns, and for this news I thank thee. Oh, how my heart leaps at the prospect.
Lady Audley, it is the duty of a Christian minister to warn thee. This is a delicate matter. I hesitate to say.
Canon Toadspawn, if thou knowest aught which concerns me, then speak, I pray thee.
Well then, I fear that when thy husband returns, thou wilt see his manner somewhat changed.
Changed? What meanest thou?
Thou mayest find him somewhat distant, prone to fall into a reverie, as Jacob did when he beheld the ladder until heaven, though I fear the object of his dream is not so pious.
This is as I feared. Be not so mealy-mouthed. Tell me, I beseech thee, in plain words. I have the strength to bear the truth.
Well, then, I fear that his affection may be turning elsewhere.
Oh, quality beyond compare.
And in such manner as the world does not think fit to speak of. A young man, high-born and fair,
What are you saying?
is now the object of his base passion.
Never!
Nor is this the first time. Ere he met thee, he dwelt ever since childhood in the tents of Sodom.
Tents and Sodom are always available in all good camping shops.
Out! Out of my sight, base Clewick! I will not listen to this outrage.
Thou art upset. 'Tis natural. Thou dost grieve, thou dost mourn, as Ruth did in the alien corn. But remember this, dear Lady Audley, there are others also who hold thee in high regard. If ever thou hast need, there is one at least on whose services one might call.
I do not understand this, sir.
I mean, myself, dear Lady Audley.
But you are a man of God.
No, even beneath the woolen cassock there lurks a frail man. Do I not have a beating heart? Do I not wear underpants?
Canon!
If ever two human beings were meant to love each other, those two were thou and I.
Canon Toadspawn, I forbid thee to speak such words to me.
I must speak, Lady Audley, a few words, and then I am silent forever. I would have declared my love for thee, but my lowly status, my lack of prospects, prevented me from asking thee to be mine ere now. So I crushed my hopes inside me, but now I am advanced. Your husband is in decline. The Lord in his beneficence has smiled on me. Now a canon, how long before a bishopric beckons? Oh, what an ornament thou wilt be to any episcopal palace.
I will not hear this. Canon, thou art fired.
Thou meanst more to me than anything in the world.
How darest thou to address me so? Out of the kindness of his heart, my husband has preferred thee, advanced thee. Thou owest everything to him.
'Tis true more than thou knowest, dear child.
Thou forgettest thyself utterly, Canon.
If I forgive myself, it is because I am lost in thee. Forget thy spouse. Thou knowest he has turned away from thee.
I will not believe it.
Now for the start of the dirty work.
I see thy plan now. Out, vile seducer, who masks his guile beneath his priestly garb.
What if I bring thee proof positive Lord Audley has indulged in bestial passion, and with a labouring tenant on his own estate, Augustus Manley?
Never!
I have here a naughty lithograph depicting the seduction, taken from life and showing the two in the very act. I commissioned the artist myself.
Yet this Augustus Manley disappeared, 'tis true. Something is amiss, for sure.
Stop acting like a stupid child, Aurora.
Cease this familiarity on the instant.
She is weakening. I must work swiftly. My poor young lady, I have only thy best interests at heart. Let me be your faithful friend, the one person in whom thou canst confide. Confess it, thou hast long feared that something of this sort might happen. There have been telltale signs.
That time I caught him wearing my sheepskin liberty bodice. He said it was against the cold, but that could not explain his use of lipstick, the resort of prostitutes and actors. Time and again I have cried myself to sleep because of this.
I knew it, my dear Aurora. I ask not that thou shouldst take my word alone. 'Tis too true, I have a vested interest, but if thou wilt meet me at the old well in Lime Tree Walk at 8 o'clock tonight, I undertake that I shall bring thee proof positive.
What proof is this?
I have a letter, writ in Audley's own hand, which is more proof than the strongest rum, and beyond a doubt.
Should I go, or shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? I can't make up my mind what to do. What to do? Oh, I dislike stooping to such base suspicions, but my heart is in such turmoil. I must have certainty. The doubts now multiply and thicken. There is no other way to weed them out.
Hast thou considered? Wilt thou do as I ask?
I will, but I must warn thee. This so-called proof of thine must be final, or I shall tell all to my husband, and wet rebution fall on thy calumnious head.
Not Solomon could be wiser in this than thou, dear Lady Audley.
What strain these tidings put upon my heart! My head is filled with wild surmise. I faint. I will retire to the hall and rest a while.
At the old well, then?
At the old well, let it be. Till then, farewell.
My greatest triumph is at hand. Soon the fly will be enmeshed within the spider's web, and now to complete my plans. When this weak and foolish Audley returns, I shall confront him. He grows rebellious, I fear, and when the goose ceases to lay the golden eggs, there is but one thing to do: wring its neck. I shall force him to write the letter on pain of public scandal and incarceration. In my clemency, I shall offer him the alternative of flight to France, unknown and penniless, there to make his fortune and his way as best he can. He is yet young. His life doth lie before him. I have heard the catamites of France do not lack charms, and offer very fine baguettes. He will succumb. He is no match for me. He will take my offer, and once he is out of the way, I shall be free to enjoy Aurora and her fortune. The Right Reverend Toadspawn, the Most Reverend Toadspawn, Toadspawn Cantar. I wonder how one addresses an archbishop.
Are you sending him first or second class?
Audley, I had not looked for his return so quickly.
Toadspawn, I had not looked for his return so quickly. Canon, thou art ahead of me, it seems.
I always endeavour to stay one step ahead of your lordship.
I am sure it is most kindly meant.
I had also hoped to engage your lordship over that little matter of business that we touched upon in the barren plain that is Hampstead.
This one will suck me dry. I must polish him off, and soon. Dear Canon, the dust of the journey is still upon my garments, and I am tired.
The stage must have travelled like the very devil.
I travelled by the new steam railway as far as Chippenham. How the soot doth blow in one's eyes! I fear it will take a week to remove it from my hair.
Fear not, thou shalt undertake thy travels again sooner than thou think'st. My lord, I cannot brook too much delay. The matter of which I speak requires some urgency.
Thy greed will not wait, but I am helpless. Very well, I will meet thee at the Red Barn on Martin's farm at 8 of the clock.
The Red Barn? 'Tis a secluded spot, and desolate. I fear he means some mischief. I will take a cudgel at the least.
Secluded, yes, and chosen for that very purpose. There is a great danger of being overheard on my estate. The servants wander everywhere, and the peasants increase mightily outside the shooting season. I shall not make the same mistake that I did with Augustus.
I shall meet thee there, then.
Excellent, and I undertake to have such accommodating news as will transport thee out of this world for joy.
Till nightfall, then. Farewell.
One tormentor I am rid of. Another is hurrying along the path to ruin. The third I shall polish off tonight, and then to reckon with Aurora, so I can at last enjoy wealth and status in untrammeled freedom. This foolish toadspawn knows not that the trap is sprung will take him to his doom.
Act 3, Scene 2, by the Red Barn.
Night falls. The birds have gone to sleep, save for the piping of the watchful nightjaw and the solitary murmur of the owl. That's an owl?
You said murmur.
I was being poetic. Please yourselves. The solitary hoot of an owl.
The dew falls while the sky is yet pearled with the last faint traces of the sun.
While toadspawn, shivering in the evening chill, makes his weary way across the fields.
To his appointment with Lord Audley and his doom.
A second shadowy figure can be discerned in outline, toiling in the gloom.
For Jed has such reason to return to much Audley as spurs him on the wings of angels, nor does fear shadow his manly heart when he knows he is in pursuit of justice.
Hello? Hello? Audley is not here yet. Where can he be? A weight presses on my heart, foreshadowing some ungodly import. The Red Barn, how like a vault it seems. Fear steals on me. I tremble in every limb. Oh, I will return to the clergy house at once. Ah, nay, he is at hand. It is too late for flight. I shall wait Lord Audley in the hayloft, where I may have the advantage, should he try any trick. Come, a trusty cudgel, be my aid. I shall need the strength of Samson, the cunning of Joshua against the Canaanites, if I shall see this night through.
Is he, the vile dissembling priest who plied me with liquor and contrived to drive me to penury and shame? He too 'twas who insisted so that Augustus had gone to be a sailor. What does he here? The old Red Barn has not been used these many years. It is a gloomy and a fearful place. As many say that it is haunted. This conniving toadspawn is up to no good, I warrant. I shall stay and watch a while. And here comes the object of my search. This villain shall not live long, or I shall perish in the attempt to bring him on his knees before the law.
Now, by all the powers holy and unholy, I shall do it. Come, ye gods, and give me strength. It is turned 8. I heard the stroke upon the bells of St. Woodall's as I came across the field. Where is the oily canon? Is he arrived before me? I see him not. Toadspawn! Toadspawn! Art thou here?
Aye, I am here to quit thee in thy perfidy.
Friend Toadspawn, I am ready to quit thee. I have but one terrible agent to aid me, and that is fire. The Red Barn timbers are dry as sand and rotten wherewithal. Come, Robert, screw thy courage to the sticking place. One last most terrible deed, and it is all over.
Oh, fire! I am betrayed! I am lost! It rises fast! Fire! Fire! Flames do lick about my feet! Curses! Curses on the head of Robert Audley! Audley has locked the door to the loft. I am trapped. Oh, mercy, mercy, help, help. The fire grows stronger and stronger. Great heaven, I know that I have been a bad and wicked man, but I will repent now. If only thou wilt save me.
Make bargains with thy God. It is too late. There's no repentance that can save thee now.
Save me! Oh, help me! Help! Someone! I choke! I choke! The air is stifling. I cannot breathe. I die.
Dead, dead. My other witness gone. I am safe.
No! Lost eternally in the sight of heaven.
Blackout. Act 3, Scene 3, Lime Tree Walk again.
While Toadspawn perishes in the fiery heat of the blazing barn.
A death which surely prepares him for the torments of the infernal regions in the life to come.
Lady Audley, with trembling heart, prepares to keep her assignation with the devious canon.
Oh, how her mind now twists and turns. What conflicts rage within her breast.
As she hesitantly walks in the dark along the gravel of Lime Tree Walk.
To learn, at last, the truth about her husband.
Oh, how my mind misgives me. Can this be true, what Toadspawn has confided? I cannot believe it, and yet he says he has proof positive. If this be so, oh, miserable me! What a wretched prospect lies before me. The husband who I loved and trusted, to whom I gave my very soul, will stand revealed as a sodomite, and far worse than that, a deceiver and a hypocrite. 'Tis too hard to bear. No, one must be brave. Thou must have certainty whate'er befall. Ay me, these wretched doubts will kill me. Canon Toadspawn?
Surprised. I must compose myself. Nay, my love, 'tis I. What brings thee out a walking so late of an evening, and to so secluded spot as the old well?
Husband! How shall I confront him? I cannot. I shall dissemble for the nonce. I found the house hot. It was making my bosom glow. I was restless for thy return. I thought to take the night air.
I fear that thou wilt catch thy death of cold. Ay, catch thy death indeed.
Look! Look! There is a fire in the direction of the old red barn.
No, it is in quite a contrary direction. It is in the direction of Newport Pagnell, I would say.
No, I am satisfied it is in the direction of the red barn. Should we not go and satisfy ourselves? An old barn like that will catch like tinder. It could be dangerous.
No, we will not go.
Why not? Is there danger? I insist I go.
And I insist that thou shalt not. Come back with me to the hall. I ordered thee as thy husband.
My mind misgives. I fear some harm has come to Canon Toadspawn.
Harm? To Toadspawn? Thou sayest harm? What harm? There can be no harm. The barn is quite harmless. Harm indeed. What dost thou know of harm? Does she know?
Some womanly intuition prompted me. I shall go and see.
If Toadspawn perishes, then good riddance. He was not fit to live.
How canst thou say that? He was a man for all his faults, and a man of the cloth. Why dost thou seek to prevent me? Thou hast some wicked motive. I see it in thine eye.
Thou art mistaken, woman.
No, I am not. I see it all now. The canon was in possession of some dreadful secret. Thou wanted him out of the way. Oh, cruel, wicked man! What did he know of thee, that thou should wish him dead?
He knew too much, and now he is silenced.
But I am not. I will denounce thee to the law. I will proclaim thee as a murderer. Help! Help!
If thou wilt not be silent, then I will have to stop thy mouth forever. But thou art dead. Dost thou come back still to haunt me? Let me have peace at last.
Audley, look on the murdered form of the man who loved thee. The toils of justice are winding close about thee. Do not think thou shalt escape. The all-seeing eye is on thy every action. Farewell. I shall be beside thee on the scaffold.
Away, away, look not on me. I dare not gaze upon that ghastly form. Is it a dream? My brain reels. My flesh quivers. My eyeballs roll about their sockets. My heart throbs nigh unto bursting. His eyes are shot with ghastly fire. His hands are eagle's claws that will tear at my throat.
Enter Jed, carrying Reverend Toadspawn in his manly arms. He lays Toadspawn down.
After Audley fled, I leapt into the burning barn and just managed to drag the unconscious Toadspawn out before the blazing rafters came crashing down on our heads. Just thought you should know.
I thank heaven I have been spared to do one act of justice ere I end my guilty life. I accuse this man of...
Say nothing! I beg, conserve thy strength.
I must speak. I accuse this man of...
There will be time once thou hast had some rest and some nourishing gruel.
I accuse this man
Nay,
of...
nay, there is a doctor on the way. He will cure thee with some lovely leeches.
I accuse this man of... Oh, look, I see the heavens open and the angels opening their arms. A choir sings. There is beautiful light. Everyone is smiling as they point me unto hell. Too late. I am silent, silent forever, ever.
There is no need for silence. I can piece it all together. Canon Toadspawn was to bring me proof of Wobbert's treachery, but Wobbert's hands struck him down ere the hour of revelation. Fear not for my feelings, good Jed. I can bear the truth.
Well, in that case, I will tell the truth. Friend, hear me. I accuse that monster of the murder of Augustus Manley.
How and where? Prove it.
I can tell thee that. He pushed him down that. Very well. I'm sorry, I'll gasp that again. He pushed him down that very well. With my dying breath, I testify this is the truth. Curses on the head of this vile monster. The grave doth gape for thee, Robert Audley, as well as me. Oh.
I too accuse Audley of this crime, and others also.
You, alive too? Is there no end to these resurrections? They become positively fashionable.
I am alive. Thou hast thought to silence me. Thou didst not think of the silver beaver which I wear over my heart as a good luck charm. Once again, Thank the Lord for my beaver, has saved me yet again.
Leave it here.
No hand of man shall ever touch my beaver. Stand back while I lay the charge that thou hast pushed Augustus Manley down this well. But there is no need to search for him, for Augustus Manley is...
Here!
Alive. Thou art alive.
Alive!
Back, monster. Thank that woman and her tribe who fished me out of the well, that thou dost not have my death on thy conscience. The blow that thou hast struck rendered me an invalid for many months. I durst not give away my whereabouts for fear that thou wouldst strike me down again. And so I waited until the time was ripe. And now the time has come.
I give this no heed. I have no need to care. I am rich. I am powerful. I have a strong, manly husband who will protect me from the slings and arrows of the world. They told me he was dead, but they lied to me. Come, my Lord Augustus, thy arm, we will leave this place. Our carriage awaits. Let us travel to exotic climes. Never heed what the world says. I have no husband but thee, only thee. Take my arm, my lord, my love. Do not shrink, dear husband, from thy little Roberta. It is time to board the coach. Come, my lord, come.
What does this mean?
Dost thou not see that he is mad?
Mad?
Aye, that is the word. I feel it in here. Here. No, do not touch me. Do not come near me. I feel darkness clouding my mind.
100 years from now, it will be gender fluidity. But now...
Mad. I will gather posies. I will gather flowers. I will trick the light fantastic in and out of bowers. See the wanton roses drooping in the showers. I will bite their heads off and chew on them for hours. The time is come when I must flit away, flit to fairy dells afar. Do not follow me. Do not try to save me. Only the grave can save me. So let the grave, the cold grave, close over Lord Audley and his secret forever.
And now, dear Augustus, we are reunited.
Dear Jed, come hold me in a manly embrace.
But hold!
Hold what?
Stay a moment. There is one thing that I have left out of my account. My tribe has helped thee, as it should protect another outcast. But there is something else, more personal and urgent, which led us to thy succour.
What is it?
When one of my tribe came to thee, rescued thee from the well, then took thee to our tents, stripped thee, bathed thee, and there did they observe that upon thy flank there was not a strawberry birthmark.
Oh, what does it mean? Tell us.
Tell us.
Many years ago, when I was young and foolish, before I met my beloved Tzatziki, I had not yet renounced the ways of men. A gallant came. He promised I should be his bride. My innocent eyes saw not through his guile. In fond delusion I submitted to his lusts and threw away that jewel which should be preserved for other women's delight alone. A child there was.
Go on.
A child so beautiful and fair. One day it was snatched from its crib upon the heath by a wealthy upper-class woman and never seen again. Till now.
Thou meanest...
Yes, That child didn't have a strawberry birthmark upon its upper flank either.
Mother!
Son!
But stay, one moment. I too lack a strawberry birthmark upon my upper flank.
This runs always in our family.
But how?
There was a sister, many years younger than I. I left upon my travels a ruined woman shortly after she was born. She too disappeared from her crib, prey to another aristocratic woman.
Can this be true?
There's a lot of it about.
Sister!
Sister!
Nephew!
Auntie!
But stay, one moment more. This man that so seduced thee, what was his name?
Oh, 'tis engraved upon my heart. Sir Chorley Wood.
I knew it. Hear me. My mother told me on her deathbed, remember that in Act 1, she told me that my father had gone to his grave with a dreadful secret. He was not the simple peasant that he seemed. Years before, he had been highborn and led the rake hell life. He had seduced many an innocent girl with promise of marriage and position. The last of these girls was different. Something about her stirred his conscience. He came to lead the simple rural life where he might repent in quiet solitude. He came here to much Audley, where he met my dear departed mother, and the rest thou knowest.
You mean?
Half-brother.
Half-brother?
Stepson!
Stepmother.
Step-nephew!
Step-aunt.
Sister!
Sister!
But this means, Augustus, we must be parted. No longer can we enjoy such embraces if we are blood related.
Oh, come now. What's a little incest among friends? And since there can be no child, no question of inbreeding.
We have thy blessing, mother.
You have indeed. A fig for patriarchal taboos.
Then a fig for elitist, oppressive, silly Sloane accents too. Some home stirs within my heart. This strong, attractive woman opens my eyes. New thoughts, new ideas stir within my breast. Strange desires, unfamiliar to me, are welling up. Oh, I need a damp cloth.
I too am stirred. I long to teach thee new ways to wake thy sleeping heart.
Women loving women seems more attractive than ever before. I knew deep down that this was in my thoughts, but until this vile wretch did force the scales from my eyes, I did not see it.
Then thou wilt not revile us, Augustus and I, and bring humiliation and public disgrace upon our heads.
Why should I? There is naught disgraceful about thee. I see thee as upright, virtuous and fair. Who is there here among us who is not subject to unnatural desires? Why, Toadspawn, look at him, this flabby, drunken, lecherous, hypocritical, self-righteous, cyberitic worm.
But what dost thou really think of him?
Would anyone in their right mind wish to be like him? No, I shall choose the path of deviation. It is more upright to be bent.
And I too shall settle in Somerset.
Oh, which part?
All of me, so I can be near my dear Aurora.
Then we too shall return unto the cottage, unto the bliss we had known before.
One moment. This cannot be. Too much hath happened not to change me. The kindness I have had from the Roma, the things that I have seen from the rich and powerful, mean that I can never turn my back upon the world again. This rural idyll is pleasant, but it ignores the poor with their faces ground into the dust of the outcasts stoned from civilized habitation. I cannot return. I would feel too guilty being idle.
But what wilt thou do?
I shall join the cooperative labour movement and become a chartist.
But what of me?
Dear Jed, tend the estate. Make it thrive and prosper, that its wealth may be shared with thy fellow workers and money raised from our just cause.
I fear my heart will break for lack of thee.
Take other lovers, find other friends, and I shall return for many a joyous homecoming. Dear Jed.
Dear Augustus.
Dear Aurora.
Dear Tara.
Tableau. The end.